pretty much agrees on that. What I can see, what I can touch, taste, feel, that I observe, and I can know that way. Or I can know it by experience. I tried this before, and I tried it, and I tried it, and it didn't work, and then I tried it this way, and it worked, and I continued, and it worked, and it worked, and it worked. That is experience, life experience, that has led us to know, and that's one way of knowing, and a good way of knowing, but it's not the whole picture. It's not complete. One of the things that it's not is not theory. So we're not dealing with theoretical things. We're not even dealing with logic, not that way of knowing. We're moving up, or remember that step ladder of faith from last week? We're moving up that step ladder of faith. Step ladder of faith that says you may be down here in doubt, but you get up just a little bit to the area of hope, and then maybe eventually to the area of trust. So we're moving, as we use these things, we're moving up the ladder of faith, but we seem to be limited at some point. We have to go beyond this, and we're going to discuss that today. Of course, we have people that have helped us to understand about believing without seeing. Magicians is one of us. They show us something, and it looks so very real, we can observe it, and we find out it's an illusion. And we wonder how much of our life is an illusion. And if we follow the course at all, we know that it will tell us that much of what we see, much of what's in front of us, is an illusion. There are sculptors who see in that block of marble something that none of the rest, all we see is a chunk of marble. They see an image, a sculpture, and they see that without physically seeing it. They believe it before it happens. So they begin to move beyond that, just knowing by experience and knowing by observation. Architects do that too. They see beyond what's physically in front of them. They see a structure designed for a particular purpose. I like the word seer, S-E-E-R, seer, one who sees, but its meaning is greater than that. It's meaning of someone who perhaps brings a lot of wisdom, or someone who can see something that we can't see. It's not dependent on this knowing that's purely by observation and by experience. This kind of seeing, observation, and experience obviously requires light. We have to have enough light to see it, even though in the dark of night, something may still be out in front of us. Unless there's light on that, we don't get to see it. So this kind of knowing is based on seeing often. It's based on some of those lower parts of that stepladder of faith scale as well. When we think of our experience and we look back and we saw how terribly something went, or how disastrous something turned out to be, or something that really did not feel good for us, and we project into the future that it's going to happen again, we worry. That's worry. Remember, on the stepladder of faith, that's down on the scale there at the bottom. That's associated with this kind of knowing, the knowing that is empirical. Rumi said this: "Be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought." I like to say, be empty of relying only on what's physical, what's right in front of us, what we can see with our eyes, what we can touch and feel. But think about the bigger picture. Think about the bigger picture. So let's move on. We know that we can believe when we use our natural powers, and that's what that first part of the knowing was all about. Then there's knowing through unknowing. This sounds kind of funny, I know, but knowing through unknowing. There's a 15th century manuscript that's called The Cloud of Unknowing. It's a Christian mystical manuscript, and if you're into the mystical, get a translation of that, because it's written in Middle English. If you just saw the document, it'd be a little difficult to read. But the cloud of unknowing. Here's how it's described. The way to know is to abandon consideration of God's particular activities and attributes and be courageous enough to surrender one's mind and ego to the realm of unknowing, at which point one may begin to glimpse the nature of God. You get the idea that even in our unknowing state, we can open ourselves to another kind of knowing. So we kind of have to retreat just a little bit, let go of all that we thought was the standard for knowing, let go of that just a little bit, be in the place of unknowing. That's doubt and hope on the stepladder of faith. But we don't know, we're uncertain, and it's okay to be there for a while. And if we live with that, it can bring us to a knowing that is much deeper than that which is just empirically understood. Here is the place for dreamers. Dreamers are those that, again, have a vision of something that we don't quite see. It's not certain yet, it's still a dream, they haven't seen it, but yet with some clarity in that unknowing state, the idea, the situation that they dream about comes to life. Obviously, Martin Luther King is one. I have a dream. You remember the I have a dream speech. A couple of phrases from that I was remembering as I prepared this. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed." That's a knowing that comes from the uncertainty, the unknowing. We sometimes have to live with that. Matter of fact, most of the time we have to live with it. And the more we live with that, the more we can move beyond that. He went on to say, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today." So that unknowing state is the place where dreamers flourish. That's where we have a vision or an envisioning. Sometimes we talk about envisioning, to give ourselves over to a seeing beyond what's really here, a seeing of what we may dream about. I have a vision for Unity of Pace. Always have. It changes a little bit from time to time. And that's an uncertain kind of thing. Do I know that that vision that I have will exactly turn out? No, I don't. Will it change? Probably. But it's from that unknowing place and the willingness to dream, to have a vision for something more, that a firmer, a surer, and a deeper knowing are found. Here in this place, that unknowing, we sometimes use imagination. Imagination is one of those 12 powers that we talk about all the time, and it's defined as the ability to image, to envision, to dream, and to conceptualize. Now, you've heard of conceptual thinkers and non-conceptual thinkers. People maybe that can see something if you talk about it, and they're on the same wavelength with you, and people who may not be able to do that. But I think we all have the power to conceptualize. I believe it to be so. So from the place of unknowing, we begin to employ that power of imagination. And it's very effective. I was looking again at Napoleon Hill. Everybody remember Napoleon Hill? Think and Grow Rich. He said this: verily, there is nothing right or wrong. So he's talking about everything, a spiritual law that encompasses positive and negative. There is nothing right or wrong which belief plus burning desire cannot make real. So that's where we are, in a place where something doesn't seem to exist. We're uncertain about it, but yet we're looking forward. We're beginning to envision that. We're beginning to see with eyes of faith. That key spiritual truth again, I can know and believe with confidence when I use all of my powers, even the power that comes with unknowing. And then finally, a different way of knowing, different than what we usually employ. Of course, that's an inner know. I'm sure many of you are understanding of some of that. I want to talk about it a little bit more. If I get the right page in front of me, I'll know what I was going to say. There's a Christian scripture in John 20 that talks about the words of Jesus as they're reported. Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you've seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." Not the empirical, not even the uncertainty, but those that through some inner sense are able to believe. It's seeing the bigger picture. We talk about that often. There's a much greater picture than what we're seeing. We're seeing only fractionally. And there is a knowing that comes not from stretching our blinders, although that helps sometimes, but from going within, so that we can access a knowing that we don't normally use in day-to-day life. It's going within to find the truth. Now, we use this kind of thinking, this kind of knowing, all the time. What it's not is, although we sometimes think about that, is apple falling from the tree, gravity. That's still really empirical. We can test it. We can scientifically figure out what it is. It becomes theory no more. It becomes proven. So we have empirically figured that out. It's not that the sun will rise tomorrow. It's not that food will sustain the life. It's not that the electric light, thanks to Thomas Edison, will turn on. But it is things like that we believe without seeing, a knowing that comes up from within us, right or wrong, I am loved. No proof for that. Not uncertain anymore, but a knowing I am loved. Or maybe a knowing I'm not loved. A belief that comes from something within us that's been built within there, some habit of thinking, some inheritance from our ancestors, that there is no love, and I am not loved. We also see this when we talk about somebody who passes, someone who moves from this life physically, and say, oh, she's in a better place. We have that belief. Can you prove it? No, can't. But it's something within you that's a knowing. Or maybe even, wow, I'm basically good. Something comes up from within us that says, there's goodness, that's part of my nature. Or maybe something that comes up from within us in a different way, I'm basically bad. These things we use all the time. These are believing without seeing. But that's not where I want to end up. I want to go a little further beyond that. Remember how I said believing requires light, or knowing physically requires light, empirically. Knowing in this inner sense of knowing, this different way of knowing, requires enlightenment. Taking it a little bit further, understanding something that's related to our spirit, that's metaphysical, and it's beneath everything. We don't see it on the surface so much. Being enlightened. True knowing in this sense, from the inner place, requires a certain enlightenment. It gets us to a place where without explanation, we can say, I know. This heart's desire that I have, I know it's there for me. This happened, I know it's good. I know. I know from within, not because of circumstances or anything else. I know from within. We can say sometimes we're with such surety because it comes from the soul of our being. I know that I know that I know. We just know. I'm sure you've experienced that at times and with some things. Inner knowing is being in touch with the divine. We talk often about the Christ within us. That divine sense, being fully divine as well as fully human. When we touch that divinity within us, we have the capability to know with an inner knowing that allows us to believe with confidence. Belief in ourselves sometimes, belief in others sometimes, belief in the fulfillment of our desires. Tom, do you have, no, you can't put that up. Now it's time to pass out that little handout we've got there. I've got a handout for you. Knowing with all your being, I think is what I put the title. Is that what it says on the top of that?
Yeah, how to know.
How to know with all your being. Okay, how do you do that? So I'm going to try to walk you through what, and this comes from my experience. But let's get it passed out to everybody and then we'll go through this. Because I think this is one of the important things. How do we do this? How do we access this spiritual truth? The truth, again, that we said is there for all of us, that I can know and believe with confidence when I use all of my powers. You'll notice it's listen, speak, and create, divided into three different things. Betty, we got one coming to you too. You and Sylvia don't have to share. You can take care of it.
Mind sharing.
Oh, I know, that's nice. Very, very sweet of you. The first two particularly come from my experience. Listen. Spend time in the quiet and listen. Find a place, find a way to do that. So critical. If you would connect with the inner divine, spend time in quiet and listen. I have gotten a habit of this every morning. And it's such a blessed time when I sit in quiet and listen. And when I listen like that, something, well, I put Rumi there. The soul directs. The soul, that combination of human and divine within you, just directs your knowing. So I'll sit in that quiet place, and then something, it's not a thought, but something emerges. Something comes up for me. All that's required to do this is to listen, to be quiet, to listen to that soul within that's ready to speak, waiting to speak. So number one, that's how you do it. Listen. Don't skip this one. You won't get to the other ones if you miss this one. Listen. Speak. For a long time we had an intention and tender circle. Here at Unity Payson, oh, that might get revived again at some time. We don't know. Mary Ann's gets an intender's message every day, and she works with it. I know that. So state your intentions. I'm paraphrasing Wayne Dyer, something that comes from him. Change the way you speak. The things that you look at change. Change the way you speak. Do you actually speak your intention? So when you're in that quiet time and something comes up and emerges, translate that into an intention or an affirmation for yourself and speak it. I take a little card every morning. I write 2 of them out. After I've had that time of listening, I write an intention. Oh, you can see it. There's that little card right there, which I attempt to look at least 10 times during the day. Yesterday, I haven't done today yet. Sunday morning, it's a little different for me. There are no blocks to my seeing clearly with what yesterday was for me. That came up for me in that time of listening. And then I translated it into an intention. There are no blocks to my seeing clearly. And then finally, create. I'm going to suggest something. I don't know what that was. Somebody's trying to get in on the microphone. We'll shut them out. Try to shut them out. We'll see them being shut out. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Virtual vision board. You probably all leafed through magazines and cut out pictures and words and put them on a board, on a vision board. These are things that you want to see in your life. But I'm suggesting that we do this a little bit differently. We'll do this in our meditation time today. But that virtual vision board is saying, what is your greatest desire and purpose? What does it look like? That would be the center of the vision board, or the main, think of it as a movie, as the main part of the movie, what you're starting with, what you're seeing, what you're wanting in terms of your purpose in your life and your heart's desire. So when you see that clearly, move on to describing it a little bit. Other scenes in the movie or things on the vision board that accompany this. How does it feel when you have experienced it? Get a picture of how it feels. Who is with you? What are your relationships like in relation to that heart's desire? What abundance are you experiencing in that state? What is the state of your mind and body? So like I say, in a few minutes after we have our meditation song, we'll come back and we'll work through this in meditation. But I want you to take this home, and I hope you'll continue to work with it through the week. That you'll begin to know when touching that inner self. Yes, knowing, of course, the physical things that we can say, the experiences and the observations. Even being willing to be uncertain for a period of time, that certainty, that faith may emerge. And then being a little creative to seeing yourself, visualizing yourself in that situation where you know as you desire to know. So remember Thomas Edison back at the very beginning? Interesting, in looking at Napoleon Hill again, Napoleon Hill quoted Thomas Edison in Think and Grow Rich. And here's what he had to say about Thomas Edison. He knew that the mind could produce anything the mind could conceive and believe. Giving you a little track to work with that this morning. It's the key spiritual truth that we started with. I can know and believe with confidence when I use all of my powers, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Neal. Great practical tips. And now as we prepare for meditation, our song is Wind Beneath My Wings, one of my favorites. Hopefully.
So as we prepare to go through meditation, let's take time to let that music convey us into a place of silence. A place where we are here. The time is now, and there is nothing else. We are life. We are life. We are life. Life is not a doubtful situation if we are able to connect with the spiritual tools that we have. We don't have to be worrying or fretting. We can know with confidence that all is well. But we have to do some of that inner work. We have to go within. So now as we spend this little time in meditation, breathe, be in nothing more, and look within for the truth. And today we've talked about how we can access that truth, how we can come to a knowing that is beyond our usual knowing, beyond our doubts. So as you are within, as you look within, clear your mind of everything, almost like erasing a blackboard or a whiteboard. Just clear it off. Are you there? Is that tablet of your life and your experience ready and receptive? As you sit there in the silence, take a few moments to see in visual terms what your heart's desire or your purpose looks like. It's right in the center of that blackboard or that whiteboard. Can you see it? Have you identified it? If you seem to have trouble, just take the first thing that comes into your mind. What's rising up from within you? See that purpose, see that desire. Take a moment. Let that be seen clearly within your being. And now, with that purpose in the center of that whiteboard or blackboard, kind of in the corner, get a picture of what it feels like to experience that fully. What does it feel like? See it clearly enough that you can make it into your little movie. Then you look in another corner and you see who is with you. Who is with you on that quest for your heart's desire? And what is your relationship with them? How is that going? How are they supporting you? How are they encouraging you? See that. Then go to another corner and see the state of abundance that you are in. Abundance, whether it be financial, whether it be in any other way. Just that abundance that is the nature of your life as you sit with your desire. See the picture of that clearly. And then go to another corner and see how your mind and how your body are in concert with that heart's desire. So there you have it, the heart's desire. How you feel. Who's with you? Your state of abundance. And finally, your mind and body working in concert as you know that purpose, know that heart's desire. So you have your little movie. Take a few moments now, and just for you, you watching your own movie, see that in brilliant color as you look at that within, which is manifesting itself to you, not yet seen on the outside, but seen with eyes of faith. Take a few moments to watch that movie. You may want to watch it a few times. Just see that again and again. It's a 5-star movie. Pack it up and bring it back with you to this time and this place. Bring your awareness here. You're going to take it home with you. You're going to play it again and again. It's going to be your favorite. So do bring your awareness back here now. Open your eyes. Become aware of this physical world. Maybe take a deep breath again. And be grateful. And so it is.
Another deep breath to give everybody just a little bit more time coming back. Okay, this is the time for our tithes and our offerings. And we greatly appreciate all of your gifts. And not just in support of this community, but it goes out to the larger community. So in a minute, the slides for giving are up, and there's plenty of time when we listen to our offering song for you to make your donation. And here in person, TJ will be doing our collection. And so let's bring your heart's desire to your offering as we say our affirmation. Together, freely we give and freely we receive. And our song is Nearer Than the Air by Michael Gott. And TJ, you can come on up.
It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. And it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that we're singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. Oh, it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy, joy to my becomes a song that we're singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
Wow, what a beautiful song. I had never heard that before. So now time for the dedication of the offering. And we can say together, divine love, flowing through us, bless all of us, all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. Okay. On to announcements. We, of course, have our regular announcements, and they are on the flyer in the back. And the next potluck will be, of course, on the first Sunday, which is July 2nd. And the writers group is always on the fourth Thursday. And so of the bigger announcements, here we have our book circle. This is the final one for the Artist Way. We took a couple weeks off so we could all continue with the work. And it is on the 15th from 1:30 to 2:45. And that's on Zoom and also here in person. And if any of you have never read that book, it's a great read. So, and next we have the Prayer Chaplains meeting is this coming Saturday, June 17th from 11 until noon. And we meet the third Saturdays in the well, actually we meet across the hall. And we have the next Sunset on the Rim with Tom. And that also is Saturday the 17th. And we're going to shoot for 6:30 because sunset is 7:39. Hopefully I can make that one. And next we have, yes.
Where is that exactly?
Oh, it's you can talk to Tom specifically, but it's the second Vista turnoff on Woods Canyon Lake Road. You turn on Woods Canyon, you go to the second established paved lookout. Is that correct?
Overlook.
Yeah, the overlook. Okay. Neal will probably have some things to say about this, but the city has been so supported with the whole kindness works that the concert series at Green Valley Park, there's 8 Saturdays starting at 7 o'clock. And boy, there were a ton of people there last night. And the focus for each of the concerts is a little different, all focusing with kindness. So Neal, I'm going to let you finish up the announcements for that.
It's great to see you if you come to the concert and come by the table. I'm usually there, at least for the first half of it. And because it's Saturday night, I try to get somebody else to do the second half, and then I go home because it's my bedtime. Um, you laugh. So next week, well, kindness works for the hungry and the homeless will be the theme. And the warming center will be there, and the Payson Area Food Bank will be there. These are agencies that we want to let people know more about. I have to say, last night there were a lot of people that caught on, and there was a lot of canned food and non-perishable food that was brought for the food banks. We want to see that get more and more and more. So if you're not going to Sunset on the Rim, I don't want to keep you from that. I'll miss it, Tom. I'm sorry to tell you. Then come to the concert. Well, I suppose you could come. Well, it would be kind of late. The concert will be almost done. But it's a wonderful time, and it's a good time to just engage in some positive connection with people across the board, people you might ordinarily not have connection with. So we recommend that you come by and support that if you can. It's a great time. Just want to mention one thing about morning coffee. We've been trying it at 9 a.m. I know that's difficult for some people, but it seems to be helpful. There's no perfect time, but we've been trying it at 9 a.m. So it will be 9 o'clock this coming week again for Morning Cafe. And I hope you can get on and join it. I think the internet will work for that and all of the things. It just doesn't seem to work here all the time. So that's all we've got. It's time to close our service. So if you gather around to sing the peace song and then the prayer for protection. I don't think we'll do breaking bread proper because we're all here. I just recommend if you have any connection that you want to make with me about the message, come and talk to me. I'll be here.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is luxury, with God as creator, family are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous vow. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for being here. Enjoy a little time together.